pilot of Loki was met with a rather interesting cameo from a lady who fans are speculating to be none other than SSR agent Peggy Carter herself. She appears in the hallway being captured by a TVA agent like other time violators. While this could be any random woman dressed like Carter, there are a number of reasons why it could be Carter herself caught violating the timeline. Any small change in the timeline, like Loki teleporting from Stark Tower to Mongolia, can cause changes significant enough to cause devastation, complete annihilation of the world, as could have happened in the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse history, but prevented by the Timekeepers. The TVA tasked itself with arresting and eliminating all variants in order to preserve the sacred timeline as dictated by their leaders, the Timekeepers. The catch being that a person such as Loki, acting on pure instinct, having no information whatsoever about his fate being pre-written by some godly power, could make choices based on free will and land up in positions that the Time Lords don't want them to go in. In Marvel's Agent Carter, we see Peggy living with her roommate since 1946 in New York City and not with time-travelled Steve. There might have been a violation in the sacred timeline where Peggy had refused to believe in endgame Cap's back from the future story, ruling it out as some hallucination or a plot by enemies to send a body double to get information, and decided to live by herself, causing a variation. A video shown in Captain America the Winter Soldier reveals that Peggy had been married to a man whom Steve had saved before he went under the ice, with whom she had 2 children. Of course, Steve couldn't have saved Peggy without being foolish enough to lie in an SSR documentation where some suspicious Cap fanboy or hater could have cross-checked the facts or investigated it. Many believe that this alternate timeline husband of Carter could be Daniel Souza, played by Enver Gojak, a fellow agent of hers and prominent character in Agent Carter. Peggy and Daniel did not seem to know each other before the war, and it seems likely that had been rescued by Captain America after he lost his foot. Which leads us to our next discontinuity in the MCU timeline. The policeman whom saved Steve is instructing to clear a perimeter. Looks familiar, eh? Could it be Agent Souza, looking at the same as he did 60 years ago? Someone's actions caused Souza to be born 60 years late. Or is it Daniel Carter Souza Jr.? It could even actively be explained in the series, considering the recent article from Newsbreak, which said that the series was to make sense out of the in-universe recasting. While it's not all Peggy to blame for messing with timeline, Steve's going back in time to stay with the love of his life might as well be a reason creating alternate timelines. Because even though Steve returned all of the Infinity Stones, Loki's TVA arrest proves that the displacing of an Infinity Stone out of a timeline is not the only way of breaching the time stream. Even though Avengers going back in time to save the world was the consequence of events dictated by the Time Lords, we don't know if they were particularly approving of Steve going back to be with Peggy, so he might as well have been captured by the TVA and gotten a pardon for saving the sacred timeline in Avengers Endgame to go and give the shield to Sam, which could be the reason for his disappearance in old Peggy's house and funeral. Similarly, in an alternate universe where Peggy takes the serum to be covered in Marvel Studios' What If and go on to be Captain Carter, she might have gone back to live with Steve, getting the TVA's attention and arrested by Sam. While Agent Peggy might be a time criminal in 1,000 ways, it doesn't look like her story could be anywhere near the central plot of Loki. Theories suggest that old Steve was in fact present in Peggy's funeral. That might be the case, but every white-haired old man is not Steve, considering Peggy could have had other co-workers who were old enough to fit in that age group. Secondly, in what sort of funeral does your niece get centre stage to speak about you, but your husband of 70 years doesn't? Considering his old look wouldn't even give away his real identity.